If you're Israel and you see that report from the Atomic Agency, which appears to suggest that it could potentially get to nuclear power, can you understand why Israel has felt threatened by that report?
You described it accurately a moment ago, what the report says. I've read the 22-page report, came out May 31st, declassified. But on Friday, I was disappointed to see you tweeting about, you said the report exposes an imminent nuclear threat from Iran, which could justify a preemptive strike. What we saw on Thursday night from Israel was not a preemptive strike. It was a preventive strike, which is illegal under international law. And that IAEA report does not expose an imminent nuclear threat. It says what you just said it says. It says that they haven't been cooperating very well. It says their level of cooperation has been, quote, less than satisfactory. It says that they were working on some kind of military program pre-2003, which is what US intelligence has also said. Those are all bad things, Piers. You and I can both agree those are bad things, and Iran should not be doing those things. And the IAEA board voted to say they're in breach of their obligations. But that's not an imminent nuclear threat. The report does not say Iran poses an imminent nuclear threat. Your tweet was wrong.
Well, when it says 60% enrichment of uranium, it's the next stage.
Yeah.
Panel.
No, but
it can be weeks, months, a year, whatever, to take it to another stage and create a bomb.
So let's find more agreement between us.
Yeah.
I agree. That is capability, right? They have enough highly enriched uranium to build up to 9 bombs, I believe. They have 400 kilograms of uranium.
So that is an imminent threat if it's in the wrong hands, right? We can agree on that.
No, it's not. No,
but why not?
No, because unfortunately having a civil nuclear program is totally fine. Having enriched uranium is fine. The issue is if you weaponize it and have a weapons program. And Tulsi Gabbard, no friend of radical Islam, Donald Trump's director of national intelligence, said in March that the US intelligence community's consensus view is that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, does not have a nuclear weapon, has not authorized a nuclear weapons program. The IAEA peers in that report, you must have seen the line in their summary, said there are no credible indications of an ongoing, undeclared, structured nuclear program. Even the IAEA says there's no nuclear weapons program. Their boss, the IAEA chief, Pierce, said last week, you cannot attack nuclear facilities in Iran. So, no, it's not an imminent threat. And under international law, Pierce, this is the key point. If a weapon is a year away, you cannot say we're under imminent threat. That does not give you a right to self-defense. Otherwise, everyone in the world would go around just bombing people. You and I have rejected the Israeli bullshit argument now in Gaza. You don't believe what they're saying about Gaza. I don't know why you're believing them on this when you were rightly calling out the bullshit from the UK and the US in 2003 over Iraq. Saddam Hussein was not an imminent threat, and Iran was not an imminent threat, and Israel attacked them illegally last week while there were nuclear negotiations going on, Piers. One last point. If Israel cared about stopping a nuclear weapon, you would go back into a nuclear deal that prevents Iran from a weapon. And guess who they killed on Thursday night? Not just generals, Piers. They killed Ali Shamkhani, the lead nuclear negotiator who was supposed to be in Oman yesterday with the Americans and who went on NBC a month ago and said, we're very close to a deal, we're willing to give up highly enriched uranium.
But Trump did say, didn't he? Trump did say, but hang on the deal, Trump said, look, you've got 60 days, right? And Israel attacked on day 61. In other words, they gave Iran the chance to negotiate. Well, that is what Trump said.
Well, Trump's a liar. Why were they meeting in Oman on Sunday then?
Well,
if there were only 60 days, why were the Americans supposed to be meeting yesterday? No, because why was there a nuclear negotiation scheduled on Sunday between the Americans and the Iranians, which is now not happening? Who benefits from that? Netanyahu. If you're worried about highly enriched uranium, blame Trump, right? He tore up the nuclear deal in 2018, Piers. In 2018, Iran was enriching uranium at what percentage? 3.67%. And the IAEA said, yep, we verify it. We have no complaints. We verify that Iran is in accordance with this deal. And Trump tore it up. And today, 60% highly enriched uranium, 400 kilograms. That's on Donald Trump.
Aren't you just, if you don't mind me saying, aren't you just explaining very articulately why Israel has got so twitchy about this? It's gone from 3% to 60%. But the way you described that sounded to me like you were presenting a fast-moving imminent threat.
No. What I was presenting was that there was a deal that worked. Trump and the Israelis tore up the deal that worked. Now Iran is definitely, you and I have already agreed, that they have potential to be closer to a bomb today than they were in 2018. So the solution is not then to go to war and increase the chances of Iran rushing for a bomb. The solution is to go back into a deal, to negotiate an agreement. Piers, just for your viewers, there are only two ways. Every military expert agrees, every US general agrees. There's only two ways to stop Iran from having a nuclear bomb. Number one is to invade and occupy the country and destroy every facility yourself. Number two is to have an agreement in which Iran agrees to stop enriching uranium at 60% or 90%, right? Those are the two options.
There's actually a third option. The third option is doing exactly what Israel's doing now, which is using air power.
No.
Controlling the skies over Tehran and using intelligence gathered by Mossad, apparently, reportedly, and using specific intelligence to target specific commanders, scientists, and nuclear sites.
That's not a third option because it doesn't stop the nuclear program. All it does is delay it.
Who are the military commanders you've talked to who do not think this is justified?
Admiral Mike McMullen, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under George W. Bush, said there's no way you can get rid of Iranian nuclear program without boots on the ground. Air power cannot do this, right? Because some of their facilities are underground. Because scientists who killed can be replaced, right? You cannot end Iran's nuclear program via bombing. Put yourself, Piers, you asked me a question at the beginning. It was a great question. Put yourself in Israel's shoes. We should always have empathy for whoever it is, enemies, allies. Let me ask the question back to you. Put yourself in the shoes of an Iranian official sitting in Tehran today who looks at a map of the region and sees Israel with nukes, Russia with nukes, Pakistan with nukes, India with nukes, nuclear-armed America next door in Iraq. Wouldn't you want nuclear weapons? I'm against nukes. Saddam Hussein gave up nukes, got invaded and executed. Again, if you're the Iranians, are you not looking at this thinking, this means we need nukes? I would rather not give them an incentive to go get nuclear weapons. I'm anti-nuclear weapons for anyone. So I don't want Iran to have nukes. But the best way for Iran not to have nukes is not to attack them. That makes countries want to have nukes more. It's just rational to go, oh, the countries who have nukes like North Korea, they don't get invaded. So why give them an incentive to get more nukes? Why not actually have a weapons of mass destruction free region? You know which country does have nukes in the Middle East? Israel, in violation of UN Security Council resolutions. You know which country doesn't allow IAEA inspectors into the country? Israel. You know which country hasn't signed the NPT, unlike Iran? Israel. We should talk about Israel's nuclear weapons, which actually incentivize others in the regions, not just Israel, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, to think about nuclear weapons of their own. I'd rather not have more nukes in the Middle East with anyone.